Welcome to Unity Spiritual Center, Florida. I'm sitting here thinking what I prepared, I'm changing, so we're going to work on that. And we've had songs in the beginning of our service, which I apologize to those online that they haven't heard it, but there's words that mean things. Anybody familiar with words that mean things? And phrases that have a definite impact on our consciousness. We are talking about implicit biases and what the outcome in our life is. And we did a lot of that last week, but I'm still on it. I'm going to get that. And all I want to do is describe it last week. And I'm getting lesson after lesson after lesson on implicit biases. Now, implicit biases are things we're not aware of that happen spontaneously, that are part of who we are. Okay, and some of the things we use were in male-female relationships, like we all have things the way you think they should be. Anybody have that? I mean, she should treat me that way. A male should be this way. A woman should do this. Okay, and those are what we call implicit biases. And if they don't meet our standards, we get upset. Anybody familiar upset? Okay, so, and what I'm struck with is the ideas of the songs that we had to sing this morning. Now, I'm going to confuse my wonderful wife, Madeline. I want to go back to the second song we sang. Can we do that? No, keep going back. There we go. You're doing well.
No, go forward.
What song
Go
do
to
you
the
want?
first. Go to the
What
first slide.
song do you want?
I want the second song.
As I Am, is that the name of it?
Or the Still Small Voice?
I
Or
think
the
it's
Still
called-
Small
I think
Voice?
he wants the first slide of Still Small Voice.
Well, that's what I have.
Yeah.
It went to
What I
the
want to
second
do is
page.
go-
Stay there.
I'm sorry to create the confusion. The words and my memory, as you know, is challenged. So what I want were the words that we sang to the introductory song. Okay?
Oh, God is good and all is well.
Yeah. And no, the next one.
Then As I Am.
As I am.
Yes,
Thank you.
that was the second song.
As I am.
It was okay.
Thank you. Now,
There it is.
it's coming. I am here, I am whole as I am. I am safe, I am loved as I am. The phrase, as I am, I don't have to do anything. This is the key to this. The world tells us we have to do this, we have to do that, we have to be this, we have to be gracious, we have to be whatever it is. We have to be liberal, we have to be conservative. Those jerks over there, they don't understand. They have to come on my side. I have to get an education, I have to do this. Once I get an education, I have to go get a master's degree. And if I'm really going to make it, I got to do a PhD. Do you understand? There's all these standards that the outside world is saying, you got to do this. And the truth is, I am here. I am here as a human being, as a vessel of God. Okay? And I have everything I need right here, right now. And what we were affirming is, I am safe, I am loved as I am safe. Anybody agree one of the issues in today's world is safety?
Absolutely.
I mean, it's being promoted everywhere. Okay, and the truth is, I am safe. And the only way that occurs is if I believe it, if I take it in and I live it as part of my life. Now, believe me, I wouldn't go out on the street in certain areas, okay? So part of that is internal ability to make a decision. So now we go to, everybody got that part? Now I want to go to Still Small Voice. And the Still Small Voice is what tells us, I am here,
There it is.
I am whole, I am safe. And the Still Small Voice is there once we cultivate it and learn to listen to it. It does not happen if we allow the standards of the world to say, here's what you should be, and you're not living it up to it and feel guilty. Okay? Anybody familiar with feeling guilty? Or give me an example. This occurred to me this week. And please I'm gonna share something that happened in my life, but don't take it seriously, okay? I have a sister, and she passed away this week, okay? Now, she is in Gettysburg area, Pennsylvania. Everybody know where that is? And she's been in a nursing home for 4 or 5 years, and by herself. And we are not in a position to go there right now. And my family says, Dad, I don't want you traveling. And they all want to go with me if we go to Gettysburg, okay? Well, that's not going to work out. Now, the world wants me to feel guilty to get the implicit biases. In other words, I'm not doing enough, I'm not being part of the family, and I make up all these stories. And the only reason I'm sharing this for you, I want you to get how deeply embedded all this junk is, and we can't hear the still small voice because we're so worried about all this voice that goes in. So the voice penetrates and overrides the still small voice. Because the world says this is the way it should be. Anybody have those kind of voices? Mm-hmm. And it's constantly going all the time. Truthfully, part of me is, I want to understand myself. How come I can't just think and have things happen? Anybody agree? When you first get involved, I got involved in here 30, 40 years ago because I thought, well, if I really think about $1,000 bills, they'll come floating out of heaven. Okay, now I didn't mean that actually, but I thought, well, that could happen. And I spent years. I wrote all kinds of. I used to write affirmation after that. Yellow pads. Mm-hmm. Affirmation. I filled them up. I am rich, well, and happy, and I'm faithful, and and I threw them out. Okay. So how come things don't happen faster in our spiritual world?
You didn't believe it.
Well, no.
Say it again, Larry.
You didn't believe it.
You can't believe it. It has to become so instilled in us that the still small voice is loud enough for us to hear it and then act on it. Okay? And it's like sometimes it's kind of, do I really want to go there? Do I really want to? But I'm looking for myself, and I'm looking for how can we accelerate the process? How can we really reach the kingdom of heaven within? Because the Bible says it over and over and over again, and even the Upanishads and the Bhagavad Gita, they all talk about reaching nirvana, reaching the heaven, reaching the rest of the heaven idea. Okay, and it's part of our intrinsic religious background for all religions that there is a place where we can get to where everything's perfect. Agree? Okay. And so how come we ain't there? And I'm using ain't on purpose to get through. So the kingdom of heaven is within, and here we are, still small voice within. Okay? And truthfully, this came up 2 weeks ago. God brought something to my attention, and I started digging into it, and I'm amazed how much my mind gets involved in stuff that I'm not even aware it's worrying on. Okay, just like I spent probably a day and a half worried about this issue with my sister. Okay, now the truth is, what's the truth as a Christian being? She's now complete and whole. She has gone on to her final reward. The last 4 or 5 years have not been good for her, living in a nursing home. So I am relieved that she has gone on to a higher level. Okay? And what anybody else thinks doesn't matter. Now I've had to come to that conclusion. And what's your implicit bias? Where else do I do it? I do it when I go out of the house. Do I look good enough? I wore a white shirt this morning, and oh my God. Right? So we have all these issues that cloud up and keep us away from the still most. And so what I'm attempting for myself is to become aware of it and do the work necessary. Valerie mentioned what's the fifth principle?
Doing the work.
Doing the work. See, we can talk about our own nature. Anybody familiar with politics? And they talk. But I want people that do, or don't need talk. And some of us, myself, in the New Thought community, it's a lot of talk, but it's do that's necessary. Okay? And in my own life, it's kind of like, okay, when have I gone backwards? Anybody familiar with going backwards? And if I really, really look at it, I'm worrying, or still small voices going, not this, it's going, well, you gotta be careful what you do. And if you don't do that, or this, if you do it that way, you're gonna get in trouble, and what are the neighbors gonna think? And there's all this stuff going on all the time. Okay? And we have, anybody familiar with a family crisis? And we make up all kinds of stories. Now, you guys are gonna work out extremely well. I just see you two doing well. Okay, would you agree with that? See, now here's another issue. I don't know why this is coming up. How many of you are familiar with Ho'oponopono? It's a lot of you are. Listen, I'm going to share the story behind it. Dr. Hugh Lin is the Hawaiian practitioner that brought it into the common conversation through Joe Vitale. And the story, Joe Vitale was attracted to it to write a book when he kept hearing about a doctor, I'm not sure what his PhD was, but anyway, he was in charge of an insane asylum. And he was recruited to take over this insane asylum that was dangerous. They had violent people in the insane asylum. And he agreed to come in if he could do it his way. And the whole story begins with, he came in and never did any kind of counseling one-on-one. All he did was Ho'oponopono, which he would spend time in his office, and he would open the what do you call it? The file, thank you, for each individual person, and he would pray over it, and he would say, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. Now there are other variations of that, and it doesn't matter. The issue is, he did this. Did everybody hear it? I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me. And within 2 years, there was no need for the insane asylum. And this was from people who were afraid to even walk down the hallway because they would be attacked. And the need for the insane asylum, it was closed because it was no longer, they were all back into society. So that's the impact that each of us has on our family, on our neighbors, on each other. So to get into this still small voice, what is the still small voice telling us? And is it being overrode by the loud ego voice? Okay? Now you can go to the slide for today. Can you do that? There we are. Through thoughts, words, and actions, we live the truth we know. I'm going to say it again. Through thoughts, words, and actions, we live the truth we know. Now here's the key, and this is what I had to realize. Every thought I had creates something somewhere. So if I have a thought about my neighbor that is unfriendly, what am I creating for my neighbor? Okay? Really, it came to home when my sister passed away. Okay? My thoughts have not been as clear as they need to be. Okay, now I'm not going to take blame for her passing away. But what I'm saying is, every thought we have creates something. You are a Christed being with the energy of God to create. And Jesus said, these things I do, you shall do, and even greater things. And do we take it seriously? Okay? So, number one, every thought I have. So God bless it, you know. And I'm going to get real clear. My thoughts of Madeline create our relationship, not Madeline's actions toward me. Everybody take a deep breath. Is that a truth?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, if I take this in and look at it, really, my thoughts toward Madeline affect how my relationship with her. And what do? I blame her for any problems in the relationship. Now, I'm not saying any of you ever think of doing that, okay? Because you're all pristine. And do you understand? The question is, how come we can't manifest faster? How come we can't create harmony faster? How come we can't heal faster? How come? Because all these cross currents are going, and we don't know they're there, and we don't take the time to slow down and look at it. Take a deep breath. Okay? So it says, now we really get involved. Look at this. This is a quote from Paul. There is neither Jew nor Gentile, neither slave nor free, nor is there male and female, for you are all one in Christ Jesus. Okay, now understand that at the time, Jew and Gentile was the big, huge division. If you weren't a Jew, you were in trouble, you were ostracized, you were going to hell. Anybody familiar with that term, going to hell? Okay, so this is the big divide. And then you really get involved in it, slave or free. Anybody agree a slave is you don't want to go there? Okay, so huge divides. Do we have those kind of divides in our culture? Yep. Some of us don't want to go there, but it's there. Okay? And then, look at this one. Male, female. We're having a hard time deciding who's what. Now, I don't know about you, but it's clear. So, we are all the same. And there is no division at the spiritual level. So when I'm creating my thoughts, it's a loving thought. And Jesus said, love thy neighbor as thyself, and love the Lord thy God, which means also love yourself. So the word love is implicit. You ready for another implicit bias? Love is everything. See, and we can get that bias in, it takes care of all this. And then as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. By the way, I want to address this. A lot of the language in the Bible is masculine, that we call it patriarchal. It's interesting that what's occurring is a lot of the new channeled information coming in, a course of love, a course of miracles, choose only love, some of the things. Larry's in class with me, and it is coming in feminine. Yes? In other words, father, mother, and mother. Now stop and think about this. What's been happening through our cultures historically, back in the Hebraic cultures, the Jewish cultures, it was masculine, and the father ran the tribe. Okay, who's running things today? It's the nurturing, caring aspect of God that is the feminine, which is the model for God, if you could use that terminology. Now that's how convoluted we get, though. We get stuck in old stuff, and it's kind of time to get upgrade. I'm still amazed at technology. Anybody agree? I'm finding all kinds of things are going faster and faster. And I've been in touch with my brother. My brother's 7 years younger than I am. I don't know why I'm sharing this stuff. He was in Vietnam and got a dose of Agent Orange, or whatever that is. And so he is blind today. And I was talking to him, and I said, well, why don't you use ChatGPT for something? And his daughter's with him, and she had been using it. He freaked. He didn't even understand that you don't have to write anything more. All you have to do is tell this machine, here's what I want you to do, and it prints out a whole article for you. Okay? And how many of us are doing the same thing? Life is changing. The old habits are gone. What are the habits? The habits are the habits we learned from the ego self, and it's now time to go forward and really start applying these things. And how do I apply them? Number one, if I'm going back to the Hawaiian Ho'oponopono idea, and Dr. Yulin and that culture said the thing we have to do is clean out the old. Anybody agree if we clean out all the junk, things might start changing? And earlier in my career, in the motivational idea, I was told to use affirmations to clean it out. But then I needed affirmations to put the new in. Everybody got that? Which makes sense. In the physical world, we're living in a what? Spiritual world. The spiritual world is already embedded within us. We have the code. The code is already out there. God is an energy everywhere present. So everything we need is already there. What we need to do is get rid of the junk that's in the way. So the idea is cleaning. Everybody got it? It's interesting. It's fascinating too. Now I'm just barking, okay? Please understand. It's just that I've been wanting to talk about this. So if I go back there, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. And the idea is, I love you, Spirit, the world, generally, okay? Please forgive me for all the stuff I've stored that's implicit biases that I don't know about. What else is, please forgive me. What's the other one?
Sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, what it is. And then the big key is thank you, which acknowledges I let it go. But a higher power than me is what's there letting it go, but I have to choose to let it go. I'm going to do something. Take a minute. What I want is tools. We all need tools. And I've just given you one tool. There's another tool of grounding in the earth. Anybody familiar with that? And all you need to do is take there's an energy system here. And the energy system goes out into the universe. Okay? And then there's a system that goes down into the earth. Okay? And Madeline calls it
Red up, purple down.
red up, purple down. And anytime she checks on me, if she knows I'm getting out of hand, Robert, red up, purple down. So what I want you to do, I'm going to do this with you. Just take a minute, get comfortable in your chair. We're going to do something, okay? So what I want you to do is just relax, take a deep breath. And I want you to understand that Father Sky is part of the universe, unlimited above you. And then at the other end of your vertebrae, your backbone, your hips, there is the ground, which is Mother Earth. And Mother Earth is always there to take care of things, to make things right, to forgive us. So I want you to take a minute and just pretend that the energy from the base of your spine is now going down through the seat, through the floor, into the earth beneath it. And I want you to imagine it goes all the way to the core of the earth. It looks like roots spread out. And in that moment that connection is made, deep, deep into the earth, let everything go that isn't of the Christ in your being. Just let it go. Any worry, any health concern, any time concern, time is irrelevant. Any worries, resources, health, all of that is leaving you and grounding in Mother Earth. And when you're finished with that, from your heart, which is right in the middle of your backbone, if you will, see a red energy coming in from above you, from the universe. And the universe encompasses everything you could imagine. You just go out into the past the stratosphere, out into the ethers, out into the solar system, out into the stars. And all of that perfect energy, all of that application of love is now being channeled through you into your heart and replacing everything you let go. All you have to do is say, thank you, Father, Mother God. I and the Father are one. Is the affirmation that Jesus used. And it's the affirmation that he's asking you to use. I and the Father are one, and all is well. And when you're ready, come back. Now, everybody see these steps? The brain has been so overcome with the patterns of the world that it takes time. Anybody familiar with learning a skill? What do you have to do? Learn the skill over and over and over again. Anybody that's been through martial arts knows that martial artists, they can break bricks. It took them years to reach that point. Anybody know that you're going to be an engineer, you have to go to school and learn all that stuff. Kathy and I were talking about math this morning, and I've tried for years to really understand math. A little bit, but it's not my lane. I need to be doing step by step in my lane, not math, which isn't my lane. So what is your lane? And the still small voice will tell you. The still small voice starts being there when we do the repetition enough. And it's step by step by step by step. Every day a pattern. That's why we say in the beginning, don't spend a lot of time. Everybody wants to meditate for hours. No. If you can get 5 minutes a day, you're starting the steps. And then you get 10 minutes, and then you get 20 minutes. And after a while, you can keep a focused picture for maybe even 5 minutes. It takes time. And the key to it is making the commitment to do the work. And what's the outcome? See, the outcome is all the promises of Jesus and many of the other spiritual teachers. There is a kingdom within us. It's up to us to find it. And we keep waiting for something outside of us to do it for us. That's the lesson I've learned. I'm still waiting for the fairy godmother to come in and make everything okay. She ain't coming. So I love you dearly. This is my heart today. And whatever happens tomorrow, I have no idea.
Well, I wanted to thank you for the biases, because out of that today, I really saw that I don't have to cook anymore.
You understand that? Really, she's right. You know, what is the role, okay? Now, I am doing dishes, okay? But you understand how intrinsic it is. What says that a woman should be the cooker? Okay? Really, why? It's all learned behavior that is a bias that we aren't aware of. Why does a woman wear her hair long? Why do women wear hair long and men, well, we've changed that, but why are all these things there? And are they real? Are they really necessary for us to experience the kingdom of heaven within? Okay, so some of us have to break out and do things differently. I'm not sure I want to learn how to. Well, I did learn how to cook in the beginning. Let's go back to when we got married. Who taught you to cook?
You did?
I forgot about that. You see how we get wrapped up? Okay, thank you for bringing that up, I appreciate that. And becoming aware of it is the big step, okay? Anybody else want to make a wisecrack? Anybody want to talk? Yes.
So I had a thing that happened this week, and when you talk about Ho'oponopono, being able to forgive yourself.
Yes.
I had lunch with someone, and we got into a political discussion, and we had very different views on things. And something got triggered, and I said some stuff that, I just said it with an energy that I felt wasn't helpful.
Yes.
You know, and then so I went back to her and I apologized, and she was like, it didn't affect her, but when I went back and did an inventory, and especially thinking about what you said, I was like, well, that's just my opinion, right? And it's okay to express your opinion, but I did it with an energy that I later felt uncomfortable with. And so I had to, after I apologized to her, I had to forgive myself and just understand, okay, well, I did that, but I recognized it, and I can take from that, and I can learn from that.
It's a big deal. Because the energy at that moment in time is anger, folks, it really is. And I'm gonna, because we've got such a divide. There are people that feel abortion is killing a child, which is murder. There are people that say, no, it's not a child until it's born, so the mother has the right. That's huge. Do you understand that? And in this room, I know there's a difference. I can feel it. Okay? So how do you deal with that? And you're right, it's a thought in the mind. And it's what you do with it making somebody else wrong.
And I realized that what was most important was my relationship with her.
Yeah.
To keep that, even though that we're total into the spectrum, to continue to know that I love her, and that she's, you know, she walks a faith path that's super strong, and we just have different opinions, and that's okay, and that's to be expected. But to be able to have those discussions in love instead of
That's a
something
still
else.
small voice is what that is. Okay, now do I have an answer? No. But it's letting go, honestly, it's letting go of all the preconceived notions and understanding that not everybody agrees with me, but my job is to love you, appreciate you just the way you are, and provide support for you. Now, not necessarily resources, but in energy. Because the only thing we have to exchange is energy. Yeah, okay, I'm going to shut up now. Thank you. Okay.